I'm Valerie Colavecchio. I'm from Long Island, New York. I have a 17-year-old son named Parker. He was born with a rare genetic disorder called galactosemia, and he also has autism. And we think because of his genetic disorder, he is visually impaired. He is visually impaired, and we're pretty sure the visual impairment caused it. Parker is blind in one eye and has low vision in the other eye, and he's a white cane user. Galactosemia is one of those tests they do when you have a baby. When you have a baby, they say, we're just going to go take the baby right now and do tests. And it's one of the they do a little heel prick and they test it for galactosemia. They also test for cystic fibrosis and AIDS and all different things. They send the results up to the state in New York State, and then you have up to 10 days to get the results. So Parker was born, I had a C-section. He was born at 36 weeks. I had preeclampsia. So he wasn't preemie, but he was just there. And then he came out really small. He was 4 pounds, 10 ounces, and he wasn't thriving and things were going wrong and no one could figure out what was going on. And it was very scary. Parker's my only child. And obviously it's my first child. And they thought he needed more milk, and they thought, maybe he had this and that. They had a million reasons. Once that genetic test came back, and they have 10 days to get that test back, and we got it on the 9th day. And I'll never forget the doctor. I was a new mom. I didn't know what was going on, and I was just so worried. And the doctor ran in and said, galactosemia. And he was really excited that it was galactosemia. No one is excited about galactosemia, I now know, but he was so happy to have a name for it. And what that is it's a rare genetic disorder. It's half a gene and half a gene. So I gave him half a gene, unknowing his dad, my ex-husband, gave him another half a gene. And together he had a 1 in 4 chance of getting this genetic disorder. It's a metabolic genetic disorder. So what it is his body is missing an enzyme in his liver to produce milk sugar. So he can't have any dairy. He can't have any form of dairy and anything high in galactose, which could be tomatoes, apples. It's very strange diet, honestly. But he was small, so everybody was giving him a lot of heavy milk-based formula as well as breast milk. So we were inadvertently, he was jaundiced. There was he was really small. He wasn't thriving, and we didn't know, doctors didn't know, that they were essentially giving him poison. Once we stopped that in the NICU, he's still in the NICU. Now it's 11 days old. He's changed color. He was jaundiced. He started to get better. So we knew right away something was wrong. We didn't know about the visual impairment and autism till the visual impairment I found about 15 days later. That's another story. But we knew right away that it was a genetic disorder. I was a new mom and thought that, I don't know if you've ever heard the Welcome to Holland poem, but I thought it's basically when parents are born, when people have special needs children, they think they're going to Italy and they're going to have this great trip in Italy, and then you're sent to another country, which is very different. I knew nothing about genetics. I knew nothing. I could barely spell galactosemia. And this was in 2004. So the internet obviously was around, but there weren't as many resources. So if you Googled galactosemia, it said at the term they used was mental retardation and disability, and it just sounded terrible. And in fact, we had an intern say to us, well, he might be able to go to high school. People just said really inappropriate things, and because they just didn't know anything about it and still don't know about it. Whenever I bring Parker to a new doctor, he's a science experiment. They're so excited to meet someone who has galactosemia because they read about it in their textbooks, but it's so rare that they never get to see someone. So they're excited, and it's not fun. So yeah, it was very hard and very overwhelming to not know what his future would be like. And here I have this child, and I just want to take this child home, and I couldn't because he needed to stay in the NICU and grow more and get healthy. So I really believe there are a couple of types of special need parents. You're either running towards the problem or away from the problem. I am a run towards the problem person. So how can I fix it? What can I do? So I immediately started, connecting with the Galactosemia Foundation and Googling and trying to find books and talking to doctors, and found a doctor in Boston that was great. And I just went into resource mode. And on the surface, I should say, I really went into what can I do to fix this? I wanted to fix it, and obviously it can't be fixed. And I grieved the child that I thought I was going to have. And it was a very busy time, because when you have a child with special healthcare needs, with medical needs, you don't get to just sit home and, oh, he's all googly-eyed and cute. You're running to doctor's appointments, you're researching, you don't get to have that happy time, because you're always worried about what is going to be his future. What is this going to look like? So I still look at it, and people, friends will share their birth stories, and what a wonderful time. That was not a wonderful time in my life. And I'm okay with saying that. That was really, really hard. So I look back at it and think, how did I do it? More not like, wow, how hard is it? Like, how did I do it? I did it because I had to, right? I did it because I had no choice, and I found as much as I could and tried to connect with people. But I didn't really talk to anyone who had a child with galactosemia until I was like 4, 5 years old. And now I make a point of, like, if I see anything out there in the internet, I try to connect with galactosemic moms right away, because it would have been nice to talk to someone who understood. Any diagnosis we get for our children is, it's not the end of the world. It will be okay. And I know that's not necessarily what you're looking for as the resource, but I want parents to know that. It feels so overwhelming and sad, but whatever it is, you're going to be able to handle it, because frankly, you have no other choice, but you're going to get through it. And I would say tread lightly with resources at first. I would not dig deep. I think these videos are great. I think talking to another parent is a great way. Read as much as you want, and don't feel guilty if you don't want to read anything, because as parents, particularly moms, we always feel like we're not doing enough, right? Look at the resource, look at the information. If you have a newborn, you're not going to have to do anything but love that child at first, right? Love that child, get to the right doctors, and everything else will fall into place.